If you're acting as your own general contractor on a build, whether it's a house, a shop, an addition, whatever it is, there's a phase of that project that most owner builders underestimate more than any other. It's not framing, it's not mechanical, it's site prep. And the reason it matters so much is that every single trade that comes after it is building on top of what you do in this phase. Get it wrong, and you're not just fixing one thing, you're potentially unwinding work that's already been done on top of it too. I'm Mark with AccuDirt, and today I'm going to walk you through what I see owner builders get wrong about site prep, and more importantly, who ends up paying for it when it goes sideways. Let's start with the most important common mistake, which is treating site prep as a single event instead of a process. A lot of owner builders think of site prep as clear the lot, grade it, done, move on to the next phase. And I get it. When you're managing the whole build yourself, you want to check boxes and move forward. But site prep is not a box, it's a foundation, literally and figuratively, for everything that follows. The clearing phase, the rough grade, the soil work, the compaction, the finish grade, these are distinct steps that each need to be done correctly and in sequence before the next one even starts. Skipping steps or combining them to save time almost always creates a problem that surfaces later on. And it's usually when another trade is already on site and the clock is running. The next mistake is not understanding what the site needs before work starts. Owner builders call me to come grade a lot and get out there and find drainage problems they don't even know existed, soil conditions that need addressing before we can build a proper pad, access issues that are uh, going to affect delivery of every trade for the duration of the build. None of that is a surprise if you've walked the site carefully and thought it through properly. All of it is a problem if you haven't. Before any work starts on your site, you should know the answers to some of the basic questions. Where does the water move across the lot when it rains? Are there low spots that collect water? What's the soil situation? Has the lot been previously graded, or has it got fill dirt on it? Is there caliche near the surface? What's the access like for heavy equipment and concrete trucks? Where are the utilities? These these are not complicated questions, but they require someone to actually think about them before the first piece of equipment shows up. So if you are the general contractor, that someone is you. The third mistake is, and this is one that gets very expensive, is not documenting the soil work. I talked to I talked about this in an earlier video in this series, but it bears repeating in the context of owner builder liability, specifically when you act as the owner general contractor. You are taking on the legal responsibilities that a licensed general contractor would otherwise carry. That includes responsibility for the site prep decisions that you make. If you build a pad without a soils report and without compaction testing, and that pad later shows signs of settlement or movement, and you have no documentation, no baseline, no record of the work that was done to any standard, every contractor whose name on subsequent work is going to point at the dirt, and the dirt is your decision. I've seen this play out, and it's not pretty. The cost to remediate a failed pad, tearing out concrete, regrading, recompaction, repaving, can easily run into five figures. And on top of whatever damage the settlement caused, the structure above it. The soils report and the compaction testing are not bureaucratic box checking. They are your protection. Get them done, get them documented, keep the records. The next mistake is sequencing trades without understanding what site prep affects. Here's a practical example. A lot of owner builders want to get the flat work, the concrete, pavers, whatever landscape done as soon as possible because it feels like progress. But if you're putting flat work down before the lot is fully finished graded, before the drainage is dialed in, before any underground utility work is complete, you are creating problems for yourself. Concrete goes down after the dirt work is done, not mostly done, completely done, not before, because if you touch the grade after the flat work is in, you've either got a jackhammer situation or you're living with whatever drainage problems exist under the slab. Same thing applies to underground utilities, irrigation sleeves, electrical conduit, plumbing. These need to be in the ground and at the right depth before finished grade. If your grader is finished grading and you realize the irrigation sleeve isn't in yet, you're either cutting into finished grade or you're running pipe on top of the ground and burying it yourself. Neither of those is a good answer. Sequencing is one of the things a licensed general contractor earns their fee on. As owner builder, you have to think through that sequence yourself. And site prep is where the sequence starts. The next thing, and this is a big one, is underestimating access. Equipment access on a raw lot is something people think about once and then forget about it for the rest of the build. But access affects everything. It affects whether a concrete truck can get into the poor location without tearing up the finished grade. It affects whether a crane can get up there to set trusses without repositioning the crane 3 times, which costs money. It affects whether your grader can get into every area that needs to be graded without damaging work that's already been done. Think about access early. Think about where your equipment is going to stage, where materials are going to be stored, like lumber, where trucks are going to turn around. On a tight subdivision lot, this is critical. On a rural lot in like Rio Verde, it's a little different set of problems, but it's still a real consideration, especially if you're dealing with soft soil conditions or seasonal access issues. Site prep, when it's done right, is almost invisible. Everything after it just works. Trades set up, they have a clean, properly graded, well-drained surface to work off of or to work from, and the build moves forward. Site prep done wrong is a recurring problem that follows you through every phase of the project. If you're planning to build in Scottsdale or North Phoenix, Rio Verde, Cave Creek area, and you want to talk through the site prep process before you commit to a sequence, feel free to reach out to me at accudirt.com or a number below in the description. I'm happy to walk through it with you on site. In an upcoming video, I'm going to take you inside how I actually plan a house pad before any dirt moves, the laser work, the layout, the overdig, the compaction lifts. If you're building or thinking about building, this is going to be one worth watching. So subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll talk to you soon.